Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Liz of Chicago Law Luxury Makeup. Today we're doing another comparison video where I'm going to be comparing brand new Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate Highlight Duo in shade Moodlight up against the original Tom Ford Cheek Duo in shade Moodlight. We will apply each one to the cheeks and see which side I like better and if I think there's a difference. So if you're curious to see which side of the cheek has the new and which side has the original, keep watching. We are back today with another comparison video. I am really excited for this one. We are going to compare the original Tom Ford Moodlight against the brand new Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate in Moodlight. So we have Moodlight against Moodlight, and I am really curious to see how they're going to apply on the cheek. So this video is going to be real quick. I am going to put a little bit of Tom Ford makeup on as we go. I will go ahead and put on a quick base using some Tom Ford products, and then we'll compare them, and then I'll finish the rest of my makeup off camera and we'll come back and see just how they compare. So I'm going to start with my Tom Ford primer. This is the Traceless Soft Matte Primer. I really like this primer, you guys. It came out earlier this year and it is really good. If you have oily skin, this is a good primer for you. I am going to use my Holy Grail foundation. This is the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate. I have shade 4.7 Cool Beige. This is just an absolute fabulous foundation. That's the consistency. It is pretty liquidy. I even have this foundation in my summer shade. It is that good. So we will just very quickly put this on. This is a medium to full coverage foundation, but in getting that coverage, I don't think that you have to use a lot of foundation or a lot of product, which is something that I really like. So while it is a thinner consistency and it is a little bit runny, you don't need a lot, and you get a beautiful coverage, a beautiful finish. I just absolutely love this foundation. I'm going to go in with the Shade and Illuminate Concealer. I have shade 2WO Beige. I think it's a little bit too warm, a little bit too deep, but it's the only shade I have. We're going to make it work. Overall, though, the formula of this concealer is really good. The consistency is really nice. It doesn't dry out my under eyes, and I do think that it gives great coverage. You can see it works really well with that foundation. I'm going to powder my face very quickly. I'm going to use the Sisley Loose Powder, and when I come back, we'll use a little bit of bronzer, a little bit of blush, and then we will compare these two highlights. For bronzer, I'm going to go in very lightly with the Tom Ford Terra. And when I use these new Moodlights, I am going to use them as a highlighter. So I'm going to put a little bit of blush on, and then I want to compare them how I would normally wear them. So I would normally mix the two shades together and use those as a highlighter. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to see, can you really tell a difference side by side? I did do a comparison earlier in the week of the new Contour Duo, and that one, there really is a difference. I was really surprised. I will link that video for you guys up above if you haven't seen it already, but I was shocked at what a difference there actually was. So I am going to be really curious to see if these have much of a difference. I feel like they're not going to have a lot of difference. That is my gut reaction, is that these are pretty much going to look the same, and you probably don't need the new one if you have the old one. But until we put them on side by side, you know, sometimes you really can't tell a difference. Now for blush, I'm going to use my Holy Grail Tom Ford blush. This is not available anymore. This is shade Ravish. This is a matte blush, and I don't want there to be any luminosity, because any luminosity that I have, I want it to come from the highlights. So that's why I'm using this blush. I absolutely love this blush. It is so good, and I'm so disappointed that it's not available anymore. So I am going in very lightly. You guys know I love my blush, and I typically do go in a little bit darker with my blush, but for today, because I do want to be able to see the highlight, I'm going in very lightly. So again, this is shade Ravish. Hands down, the best blush I've ever owned. I just don't know why some things have to get changed or taken away. All right, so now we are ready for the new highlights. So I'm going to swatch them side by side. When I say side by side, I'm going to do the dark shade next to the dark shade, light shade next to the light shade. So I'm going to start with the original. And that is the darker. And now I'm going in with the new. They are pretty close. So now I'm going in with the original. So the difference is very, very slight. The darker shades are very similar. It's hard to say if they're different at all. The lighter shades, though, there's a little bit more of a difference. So again, original, original, new, new. All right, so I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna take my Chikuhodo KZ number 5, and I'm gonna just mix the two shades together. This is how I normally wear this product, is I just mix the two shades together. And it is a beautiful highlight. This is hands down one of my favorite highlighters. You guys can tell it is very much loved. Now, I don't like that harsh line. So a step that I often do off camera is I will buff. And I will do that together with you guys today. But I did want to show you. So that is the original. Now I'm going to go in with a Sonia G Designer Pro. And we're going to go into the brand new one. They look very, very similar. I'm trying really hard to stare at my cheeks to see if I can see a difference at all. The new side I feel might be just slightly more subtle, and the original has a little bit more color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buff them down. They are pretty close. I think if you have the original, I don't think you need to go out and get the new. I don't see that much of a difference where it's, yeah, I just don't see that big of a difference. But let's buff. If I had to pick a side that I prefer, I do prefer the new. I think it just looks nicer. But is it that big of a difference where I say if you have the original, you need to go get the new one? And I don't think you do. But I do think that the new side looks better. Let me know what you guys think. Do you see a difference? This is the original and this is the new. I'm going to complete my look off camera and then I'll be back and we can see the finished look, how everything ties together. Here's the finished look with the rest of the makeup on. And then here are the cheeks after they've been sitting down for about 5 minutes or so. I do still prefer the new side. I think that it gives just a nice, subtle, natural, healthy glow. That's not to say that the old is bad. I absolutely love the old as well. But if I had to pick a side, I do actually prefer the new. But I don't think that the differences are so different that you need both. I think if you have the original, stick with the original. If you don't have either, I highly recommend Moodlight. I think it is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful shade, and I'm absolutely loving it. But I want to hear from you guys, and I want to know what you guys think. Can you really see much of a difference? I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video.